Hey there, welcome to day 14 of the Get Up and Go Challenge. Remember, when you pass Go in Monopoly, you get to collect $200. It's about making progress around the board game and winning and collecting property and things. Love Monopoly. My son, Monopoly whiz. For some reason, he could always just kick all of our rears in the game of Monopoly. But today, we're going to talk about our own Get Up and Go Challenge. We're going to talk about the P in our SOAP framework with respect to our physical well-being. Now, yesterday, if you did your homework like I did my comparison and my analysis of the action I wanted to take yesterday. So I decided I needed to find a supplement, and I needed to take a supplement for my energy. So I borrowed from my son one of those pre-workout energy drinks, and I took half a dose, put it in my water, drank it up, shook it up, and had one of those tingly face-like reactions to it. There's something in it that really gets your body going. It definitely gave me more energy, but it made me have like a tingly type allergic reaction. So, not sure I'm going to take that one again. But my strategy was to, based on the way I did it, I just gave it on a scale of 1 to 10, and then I came up with a total of 16, 30, and 17 for my 3 different options. And so I went with the lowest one because that meant it was probably the least resistance, the quickest and the easiest for me to do, and that was to find some sort of supplement to give me more energy. So in the afternoon, when I'm dozing off, hanging out with my granddaughter, I could just have a little bit of that pre-workout, and whammo, I'd be full of vim and vigor and energy. Coffee has pretty much the same effect on me without the tingly face effect, so I'm not sure that's what I'll do. But what do? We try something, and maybe you didn't have a reaction like I did. I had like an instantaneous reaction to that particular supplement, and so I knew that I was going to have to tweak that going forward if I wanted to continue to use that and make progress to get me more energy using that strategy, or if I had to change it up and do something different. But when we find something that works, say I had had a great energetic reaction to that and no tingly face, I would have just said, all right, this is something that I can add to my routine every time I need a little boost of energy. And how do we do that? How do we add things to our habits, our routines, to make progress? Well, that's not the tool I want to talk about today. We'll talk about that further into the challenge, of course, and we'll go through some strategies for doing that. But what we want to do is find things that work for us, that move us toward what we want, to remember, narrow that gap from where we are to where we want to be. And the things that work, we want to find ways to make them automatic in our life. Now, one of the tools I learned early on in my corporate career, actually my first job out of college, was working for Procter & Gamble. And Procter & Gamble, I believe, is still pretty notorious for having an incredible training program for their management staff, for all of their employees, but for their managers in particular. They had that reputation when I went to work for them, I don't know, 40 some years ago. I don't know how many years it's been now. I don't even want to look, but I can look on the exercise that I learned at one of the trainings there, and it's called the Lifeline exercise, and I call it my lifeline. And what you do is you just draw a big line on a piece of paper, the year you were born. I like to start the year I was born. And do I remember a whole lot of stuff about my physical health when I was, under 5? No, a couple highlights, that's it. And then to 2021 and beyond. I like to put the arrow beyond, meaning I'm going to continue living after 2021. At least that's my plan. And what I do, and what you do, and what you will do, is you'll go along that timeline. What I like to do is just put the highs and the lows of what happened to me. Now I want to look and see what I've got on this particular one. This is actually my physical well-being, but it's like big life events of what happened to me. And then I would graph highs and lows in terms of how my life's going. And I get a line, and I hope that my line is trending upward for most areas and aspects of my life, but a lot of times it's not, right? It's like any other graph that we make. So, some high, some low, some high, some low. It's never a straight line from where we are to where we want to go. Would be awesome if it was. If we could get to things like the crow flies, that would be amazing. But for us humans, we're never that direct. So on your timeline, you're just going to put the highlights with respect to, I'm doing physical well-being, my health, my perfect physical health, my body, my physical, anything that has to do with physical. And I'm just putting that on my timeline. Now, what I did with this one, I just did this. I just put big events in my life, and I wrote them down, because what I'm going to do as I go through the challenge this time is I'm going to graph my physical, my mental, my emotional, my spiritual, my financial, my relationships, my contribution, my confidence, and my communication on this graph, on this timeline. So when I'm done with it, it's going to look like a crazy mess of colors and lines going up and down and up and down. But what I want to look for in the end, at the end of the challenge, is, are there direct correlations between my communication and my relationships, my communication and my business success, or my financial? Are there direct, what can I learn about myself by doing this exercise over the course of the challenge between now and the end in each of these different areas and aspects of my life? Do I have to wait till we go through each one to do it? No, I'm going to probably start today, and I'll probably do one every couple of days. I'll just go through and I'll grab, okay, what's my physical based on these events? And you might have, maybe you only have 2 or 3 big events that you put on your timeline. It doesn't have to be, it can be as complicated or as simple as you want. And to be honest, the simpler we keep things, the older I get, the more I figure out that the simpler we keep things, the more, the easier it is to find the lesson in it for us, or at least for me. When I complicate things, and I tend to overcomplicate everything, just the nature of which I'm changing. I'm working to change that and keeping things simple and simple and simple. I spent a lot of years making things super complicated and complex and the end of the world, and now I'm spending, the second half of my life keeping things simple and finding ways to do what I want, get what I want, impact the world the way I want to, in the simplest, easiest, fastest way possible, right? Simple is a whole lot more fun. It's actually harder, by the way. It's harder to take complex things and simplify them so that everyone can understand them than it is to have complex things and just try to explain complex things to people. So it's actually a fun challenge. So today, what I'd like you to do for your action item is just start this lifeline exercise and draw a line on a piece of paper. Nobody's going to see it. Find a piece of paper. I like this cardboard because I don't see very well, so I need bigger things. But grab a piece of paper, write a line on it, the year you're born, an arrow after 2021 moving forward, because our lives are going to continue to expand and grow and be. And then just what are some of the big events in your life physically? Just do the physical ones, and then plot high, low, high, low. And you can make up your own scale. I have like a line on here that says perfect in all areas, right? Would be this line right by my lifeline, way at the top, the ultimate. And then down here is just the starting point. Well, when I'm born, it's just 0, right? I was born, it was just neutral. Unless you were born sick, then it's probably a little bit negative, right? Below the line, it's down, but it's definitely not your ultimate, right? And then there's things that sometimes, I don't think I've ever been at my ultimate, absolute, positive, best physical shape and health and condition ever in my life. I think that that's yet to come for me. So I would never have hit this line physically. Not yet. I'd be like if I made it halfway to that line. All right, that is our challenge for today. Share in the comments below just one thing that you learned about doing this lifeline exercise. Share what direction your activity yesterday took you. Are you making progress from where you are to where you want to be or not? I had a reaction, so that's good. It wasn't exactly the reaction I want to be, so I'm back to the drawing board looking for what is the supplement that I can use to give me energy that isn't going to give me that tingly face feeling. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow, and we are going to immediately pick another area to go through the SOAP framework on. Normally, there's plenty of time to get through all 7 areas in a 30-day challenge, but I've never done 9 areas in a 30-day challenge. So we are going to not take any question days right now. If you have questions, ask them and I'll answer them along the way. But otherwise, we're jumping right into the next area, and I haven't even thought about what the next area should be. We got physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence. I don't know. I'll pick one. I'll pick it tonight, and then we'll hop right into it tomorrow. And we're going to go through the SOAP framework, the S, the O, the A, the P for the next 4 days. And then we're going to do that again, because I think that it's important to get a whole lot of tools in your toolbox that you can use to determine what is your story, what's your situation. We used the first we did the journalistic one, who, what, where, when, why, and how. But starting tomorrow, then we'll go into the S of the next area or aspect of our life. And I want to give you a totally different tool to think about your story and your situation, so that you have more, so you have several ways to get at each of these things as they come up in your life. And you'll have all kinds of tools in your toolbox then that help you automatically use the SOAP framework going forward. All right, have an awesome day. Questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.